What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. What a day we are having. Started off pretty rough here on AMC, but here in the after hours we are smoking it. Up 3% already, and this thing never moves. I was thinking to myself earlier in the day, I said, look, if this thing starts moving in the after hours, I'll be excited, because AMC doesn't move in the after hours, and there's several reasons why this after hours movement has me excited. One, normally it's retail wanting to get in, seeing something in the charts. You don't hardly ever see. Normally this is dead. This is either new retail coming in, getting excited about this bounce here at these levels, or shorts covering, or both. And I want to go through the Ortex info here, and there's one thing I want to talk about in particular that's got me pretty pumped up, and that is the utilization. So on the day, short interest is up almost 3%. That is sorry, got something in my eye. That is the information from the T+2, so 2 days ago, which would have been Monday. And Monday we actually had a, what was it? Monday we had a, we were up 3.3%. Short interest was up 3%. They have been demolishing this thing the past 2 weeks, absolutely trying to crush it. Past 2 weeks in general, ever since we broke down out of, let's see here, ever since we broke down out of the wedge right here, with a July 30th and then August 2nd. So let's go back to the short interest and the chart for the utilization and the short interest. July 30th, our utilization was, August 2nd at 90. It went down just a smidge during that huge drop, not surprising. August 2nd, it was at 90. Now it is up to 94.42. And even before that, since our test of when we tried to retest 45 and got rejected, that's when they really started crushing this thing. I mean, it's 83. It's gone from 83 clear up to 95, pretty much 95%, and they haven't been able to push this thing past 30. They haven't. It's just not going. And every time it gets below $31, $30, it just pops right back up. So that's got me pretty excited, because if you go back to 2 days ago, here we are up again 3.36% going into earnings. That was the earnings report. The next morning we gapped up. I think at one point it was like 12%, 13%, and when we opened the day we were up 10% on the day, and like 8% or so at open. And we know that it likes to fill the gaps every single morning. And by the time it got back here and had given up almost 10% gains, I don't think anybody was too pleased. And so if we go back and look at yesterday's price action, I mean, let's be real, especially if we go into the 1 minute chart, half this dip was completely ridiculous. The sell-off. I got my chart all messed up. All right, we'll go back to yesterday. I mean, this was getting ready to come back right here. It was getting ready to come back. And it was getting ready to come back right here. And look at the increase in volume to get this thing to go down from about 130 on. They hammered it and hammered it and hammered it to do what? Drop it $2. I'm excited to see. This is why I'm excited about the utilization, because they got 5% left. They used half of what they had available in the last week, and they probably used even more yesterday and today to do what they've done today. So there's no way that this thing is not approaching maxed out utilization, and we are sitting in a situation where we've got so much support building at this level now. I mean, this was the 83% utilization, like 70 something million shares on loan. We are now up to 95, close to 95 million. So 20 million shares to drop it from 40 to 30. Hey, good for them. Good for them. But yeah, I'm really excited to see when the numbers come out tomorrow morning and throughout the day tomorrow, just how much they really, and if they did add to their positions. I would bet that if they didn't add, it's pretty relatively neutral in the day. And today, I know today that they were having a hell of a time. I mean, I've been watching it happen. I've watched them dump thousands at a time into breakouts to suppress them. So I know they've been using. I mean, look at the volume. Look at the volume on these days. These last 3 days, the short volume percentage. If we go and look at the short volume percentages for the last few days, 61% yesterday, 56%. That would be Monday, and 61% Friday. And those were the 3 days that we've been looking at. The 3.5 gain, the huge day yesterday from about 16% from top to bottom. And then Friday, 61% short volume. So they are crushing this thing right now. And they've got to be running out of shares. They've got to be. And I don't think that this is a different situation than the first couple times around, because there's so many more people paying attention. And if we go back and we take a look at a couple things, like let's look at our daily volume. What do we got? 68 million today, 115 yesterday, 77 million, 52 million, 108, 84. You know, you get my drift. A couple days below 70 million here and there, but for the most part, we're averaging 70, 80 plus million shares a day. Now, if we go back to where their utilization was maxed out last, in this zone right here, before all this attention, this new wave of attention came in, this new wave of retail, we go back to this zone, which was the last time their utilization was maxed out. Look at the volume at a price sub $10, 10 and 9, you know, 11, 10, $9. The volume, 50 million, 39 million, 37 million, 27 million, 31 million. It was as low as 15 million on May 5th. And we are trading at 3 times the price and 3, 4, 5 times the volume on average. So when they run out of short shares, sorry about your luck. Because I don't think, some people think, oh, well, they'll just keep creating naked shorts and blah, 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 and they're going to just short it forever. What's to stop them? Well, like I said, all the attention. Back here, back in January, I don't think the SEC had their microscope out at that point in time. I don't think Gary Gensler was paying a whole lot of attention at that point in time. But all this talk the past 6 months has opened a lot of eyes, and there are a lot of people waiting to buy. Look what happened. I was on the wrong page that whole time. Y'all didn't even see what I was talking about. My God. So back here, utilization in this area was maxed out, leading into our run. And this is where they were trading at super low volume, back early May, mid-May. So, but yeah, I just look what happened when we started bouncing the first time, and we had that enormous 24% day. It was like a 40% bounce. That's when they started slamming it. That was gonna be it right there. That was ready. It was ready for takeoff right there. And they started. I mean, they've added, like I said, 25 million shares to their positions between then and now. It's insanity, and it's coming to a close. Their time is running out. So going in tomorrow, and it's already kind of started here in the after hours today, but we know, we got to be careful with after hours on AMC, extended hours. Looking for it to do exactly what it just did, but tomorrow, push above this $32 level and hold above. If we can hold here, I'm be thoroughly pleased with that. And after we break that 32, there's really not much. I mean, there's this little stop at 33, but that's not really a big level there. I mean, the level we need to watch out for next is 34 to 34.50. And then after that, it's back to the testing 37.50 to 38 to 39. And then ultimately the retest of our 45 here. Now, if we look at the after hours, I mean, turn the after hours off. Look how this thing just comes together. See what we got here? Big fat W. And I expect that we should see a little bit of a faster pace upward move on this end. I mean, like something similar to this, a little shoot right on through that gap and retest 33, 34 pretty quickly after that. So I think coming up here in the next couple days, I am extremely curious to see the update to the utilization, the short interest. When this thing, like I said, when this thing gets to 100 utilization, I think it's game on. I think it's game time. I think they've played all their tricks. I was talking in a previous video about how I think a lot of this is just a series of tests here, you know, like that's them testing. When we were back trading in the 45, 50 plus area, all the talk, what was all the talk? It was, if this breaks $40, it's going back to $10. If this breaks 40, it's going all the way to 25, which, you know, wasn't far off. But people were scared back here. People were scared of what was going to happen if it broke 40. You know, they were afraid that maybe this whole thing would just fall apart after that. And so when it broke 40, they were able to capitalize on that. When it broke 50, really, that whole range between 40 and 50 is almost just a gap. So that's why I think it's so crucial that we are trading in this range, even if just a little bit here, that couple days there, and on the way up, trade hopefully within that range so that we don't have that huge gap below us anymore. We got a support below us. But anyways, back to when this started selling off, it broke 50. You know, people started getting worried. It broke 40. You know, bounced back up to 50. People were kind of excited. Okay, cool. You know, that, and then just an attack, a sell off all the way. A lot of this was a sell off, because a lot of people did sell between 45 and 50 and that $30. But this time around, you know, because they see all the talk on social media, they listen to us, they see what we read, I mean, see what we write, see what we talk about. And so, and they see our orders. So they know where people are willing to sell, and they know where the fear is. And this time around at this $30 level, nobody's afraid. Nobody's afraid it's going to fall all the way back to $25 if it breaks through 29. If it does, so what? And that's why I think you've seen such a strong level of support here, because even if it did go to 25, people don't care. They're excited to have the opportunity to keep buying these low prices as they keep getting their paychecks and whatever. And I just, as you can see, every time it's come below that $30 line, $31 line, it's just sprung right back up. So I'm excited to see this follow through, see how this follows through tomorrow, and see what happens tomorrow, see what happens with the short interest. You know, I just don't think they have enough. I think they tested it once, it bounced. They tested it again, it bounced really hard. And then that's when they just started dumping shares. They knew at that point, this is when they realized, we got to do whatever we can to get it back down to 30, where they're willing to hold off buying until, you know, as soon as we get to that 30 level, everybody starts buying it up, right? 28 to 30. So if they figure if they can they'll just dump everything they got to keep this from breaking out. They'll ride that trend back down with their 75 billion puts at $31 and $30. And then they'll try and make that money. But they're going to burn all their shares doing it. So they're burning up all their shares to get to this level, to get out of their positions. And I think you're going to start seeing a lot of covering between 29, 28 to 30-ish if it comes back there, I believe it's just going to pop right back up. And if it starts creeping up, it's going to keep creeping up even further. If we go back to the 4-hour chart here, and let's just draw our wedge line, just one line here from the peak all the way down. So do you see the situation? I mean, if we do it there, which it seems to be respecting that trend line fairly decently, we're out. We're already out. So let's pull it up. We'll go up to here to the wicks, and that's where we're testing right now. You know, we're coming up to retest that support. I mean, that resistance. When we get out of that, all this support, all these levels of support, this descending resistance, this is part of the thing. When you break out of a wedge, like we broke out here, broke out right here, what you want to do is you want to come down and you want to bounce off that resistance as support, and that is exactly what happened here. We broke out, we rode it, bounced around back and forth for a little while, broke up here, came back down, and we have bounced off of it, and now hopefully we're going to be headed back up. We got a nice setup going here, and I think we're in great shape going into tomorrow. So that's all I've got for today. Went on a little longer than I expected, but I don't get to talk about stocks with anybody really, so when I get to do this, I just talk and talk. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, and I will be back with more content ASAP. I've been missing for the past week, laid up in bed. My back has been, this first day in a week and a half, I've been able to sit in a chair for more than 5-10 minutes. So anyways, so I got a lot of stuff that I'm going to be working on, so I will catch you guys in those videos.